Hey, thanks for clicking on my face. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and this is a review of Falling for Christmas. This movie is on Netflix. This is one of their 2022 Christmas movies. They're trying to slowly outplay the Hallmark people who it's impossible. I mean, Netflix would have to make so many films. Hallmark makes like a movie a day. Like during this season, it feels like I don't even know how many Christmas movies they've made over the course of time. It's just I bet that list is like thousands. I bet there are thousands of Hallmark Christmas movies. But this is basically that. But the reason why everybody's reviewing it is because it's a Lindsay Lohan movie. Or Lindsay Lohan, as she reminds everybody. Lohan, stop hitting that H so hard. I'm a blind film critic, so I actually watched this film with audio description, which was interesting. We'll talk about that. Anyway, after I explore the movie. So yeah, this is a Lindsay Lohan movie. She has not been acting for a hot minute. After she found out who killed her, she kind of just went away. I think it was the last film, either that or Georgia Rule, and she just kind of disappeared after that. And last time I heard anything about her in the news, I think it was when she lost part of her finger, which I was so interested because in this film she has to put a ring on her finger multiple times and show it, and I was like, which hand is she using? But that was just a little thing. I was like, oh, is she showing her hand to the audience, or is she showing the other hand? Like, is she strategically choosing to share with us the fact that accident happened and this is what her hand looks like now, or not? Anyway, just a little thing that crossed my mind every time she had to do that. I was like, oh, I wonder which hand it is. But yeah, this film also stars Cord Overstreet, which was kind of fun because I haven't seen Cord in anything since Glee, I think. Not anything memorable anyway. If he was in something else, I only know him from Glee. So, yeah, I can't think of anything else. He's just not memorable in anything except that TV show. And this has, of course, it has to have somebody who's like a legacy, like a classic star. So we got Jack Wagner, who plays, I shit you not, his character name is Beauregard Belmont. And just that alone gave it a full point. So if this film did nothing else, the really over the top, like wealthy, he plays like a really rich guy anyway that's running like a corporation, and Beauregard Belmont is one of the most ridiculous names that I love so much. I was like, oh my god, somebody's named Beauregard still. So that gave it a point. I gave it a full point just for that. This is a hard film to really talk about seriously. It's just, I want Lindsay Lohan back. Lohan. I want Lindsay Lohan back. I liked her a lot as an actress, and I think making one bad film or two, depending on whether or not you like Georgia Rule. I actually liked Georgia Rule a little bit, not loved it, but I mean, I liked it. So depending on how you felt about that film, but I like her films. I think she's talented. I think she should have stayed in the business and should have had a career. I know she had some other troubles and was a little bit of a party child and had to get that out of her system. But I welcome her back with open arms. But please give her better movies than this. Please don't make her the Christmas movie girl. She's so much better than that. And you can feel it in every frame. You can feel that she's still the Lindsay Lohan that we loved, 20 years ago. She's still like Mean Girls Lindsay Lohan is in there. But she's stuck in this film that is just like Oh my God, it's so sugary sweet. It's just molasses. It's just all over you. It's just dripping. It's I don't know how I don't know how people watch these Hallmark movies. Um, but yeah, Netflix has really just stuck to the formula here. This isn't There are some Netflix movies that I like that are Christmas themed where they're maybe a little hokey, but they're fun. They're fine family entertainment. Uh, Jingle Jangle. Everybody was pretty hyped about that one. I actually like the Christmas Chronicles movies. So it's not that Netflix can't make something entertaining for the holiday season, but this is just it's like a romantic Christmas comedy. She plays an heiress that is a bit much. And even her dad knows she's a bit much. And she's got this pretentious boyfriend. And they're going to get married. But unfortunately, they're on a skiing vacation. And she gets in an accident and has amnesia. She can't remember who she is. And she wakes up. And she's found by this really, nice widower. He's got a little girl. And he owns a really nice bed and breakfast locally, and he agrees to let her stay there while she tries to figure out who she is. And of course, he's single, his wife died. She knows what loss is like, but she doesn't know that she knows what loss is like because it takes her a while to remember that her mom died. So everybody's experiencing loss just across the board in this film. And, his daughter takes to her and likes her, and that's what the falling for Christmas part is. This is a Christmas rom-com, but it's got such a cheesy vibe and feel to it. There are so many moments in this film that are just so terrible. This is a directorial debut, though. I do have to say that. Now, I looked that up before I hit this too hard. This is not somebody who's been making these films for a long period of time. This is a girl who, I looked her up, and she has produced a bunch of this type of film before. She's written a couple things like this. She's also the credited writer for Marley and Me, which I thought was really interesting. But she used to be a dancer back in the day. When you go really back in her resume, this is why I love IMDb, is because it tracks everything. It knows. She has Captain EO on her resume. Again, I was super entertained by that. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Disney World and been to the Captain EO attraction that was at Epcot. But I was just thinking to myself, I was like, man, could you imagine like time traveling back into the 80s and trying to figure out which one of those backup dancers grows up to be this woman who directs Falling for Christmas? It's a crazy world. Like, you're like, oh, she was just a dancer in a Captain EO movie that ran at Epcot? And now she's directing a Lindsay Lohan movie? What a weird world we live in. So yeah, she's got a bunch of dancing credits. She was a dancer in a bunch of things back in the day. And now she's got a Netflix deal, I guess. I don't know. But it's just a sugary sweet film where they have somebody he's on his phone, and when the battery dies, it makes a sound effect. It literally just makes like a I was like, my phone doesn't do that when my battery dies. Does anybody's phone do that when their battery dies? Oh, it was like wah wah wah. Like, I felt like I was watching like a cartoon. Like, that's the kind of sound like a Paw Patrol phone would make when it runs out of batteries. This film makes a lot of silly choices, silly life decisions, but it also it knows its audience. It knows we're here for Lindsay Lohan, and there are little moments thrown into this film, like she's driving along in the car and she's totally all about Christmas. Like, she loves Christmas, so she's jamming out in the car. Guess what song she's jamming out to in the car? Jingle Bell Rock. It was Jingle Bell Rock. So if you're a Mean Girls fan, hearing Lindsay Lohan sing Jingle Bell Rock again was amazing. Like, that was a great moment for me. I was like, okay, they could have picked any Christmas song for this moment, but they picked Jingle Bell Rock because they knew that they're playing to Lindsay Lohan fans. And having her sing the same song that she sang in probably the movie she's most well known for at this point, is, was a solid decision. Cord Overstreet is fine in this. I have no problems with him. All of the people act this film at the level at which it's supposed to be acted. There's nobody who's just like a terrible actor. It's just that everybody is in this film and it's so chipper and it's just so like hokey and upbeat, but they all play it that way. It's like intentional. It's a film that is intentionally supposed to be that way. So everybody's doing that. They're all doing this like PG type version of this romantic Christmas film that's really just a safe film. But Lindsay is she's got her old sort of sarcastic wits about her, the charm that made her work in all of her previous films where she was kind of angsty and frustrated. She still is here in many ways. She's just an older version of that. So it's I hope her next project is befitting of her talent and not just another one of these. Because I'm fine. I saw this. I'm here for it. I get it. I don't really know how to grade it because I don't watch enough of these to know like on a scale. And I always like to grade films based on how they effectively manage to do what it is they're setting out to do. And this is effectively setting out to be just one of those random Christmas TV movies, which I don't see a whole hell of a lot of. So I don't have a lot to compare it against. I've seen a few, but not, I'm not somebody who spends my life on Hallmark Channel during holiday season or Lifetime, or I guess GAC is doing Christmas movies now. I just don't. I mean, I watch the big ones that the studios make. I love Elf. But if I was comparing this film to like Elf or A Christmas Story or Home Alone, I mean, no, not the same thing. Not even close. So there's a huge difference in tone and in quality and what they're attempting to do than what this film is. The audio description on this film is so weird. This guy is so optimistic. I feel like he's reading me a children's novel. I don't know how else to say that. It was very bright. It was, but it was off-putting to me because I didn't need him to be that perky. I didn't need him to be. He's not credited at the end of the film. It just says descriptive video works. I have no idea who the narrator is. So if it's you, sorry, I don't know who you are. It was very bright. It was very just upbeat and chipper, and it was exactly what the film needed. It just, for me, it was a lot. It was a lot every time to hear this guy who's like, so we walk over here, and they go to the door, and I was like, I feel like he's narrating a ride at Disney. He'd be great for that. It's hard to capture it and put it in a lightning in a bottle type of moment. But if you watch the film, you'll hear what I'm saying. I would put him on a kid's film for sure. I think he'd be great. Like I already said Paw Patrol once, so I'll say it again. I think he'd be great on Paw Patrol. Falling for Christmas? I don't know. Maybe not. Probably. I mean, there's nothing. I don't see an upside in his tone, because if you're a woman and you're watching a romantic Christmas movie like this, you're gonna want a man with the sexy voice. You know what I'm saying? So you would want, if you're trying to get that, you're gonna want somebody who doesn't sound like he fell out of Blue's Clues. But if you are, if you're thinking about it that way. So, but if you just want like neutral audio description, this guy's got a lot of energy to him. So it just depends on what it is that you're looking for. He was a bit much for me, but I think for some people, the fact that he matches the film's almost relentless upbeat tone, even when it's depressing, the film is still upbeat. Even when they're talking about dead people, there's still this like weird sort of like everything's gonna be okay. It's like a big warm hug. You know, it gets its whole vibe in there. This is not a sad film, even when it wants to be sad, even when it tries to make you sad, or even when you think the film might not end the way you think. It never works, because this film is just so damn chipper and upbeat and fun and flirty that you're positive that this weird guy that she used to, at the beginning of the film, she was connected to, she will not end up with him. She has to end up with Court Overstreet. Otherwise, the film doesn't make any sense, right? You get that vibe throughout the whole film. Like, why else would they introduce her to a widower with a child and have her bond with the kid? It's this super obvious film. But hey, you're not here for any of that. You're here because you want to know, is Lindsay Lohan still good? And the answer to the question is yes. Now, as I said, it's not a great film. I can't really throw it up against many other films, and I don't really know a whole lot about the films in the genre that are like this. I don't know enough of them to be able to rank it based on other things, the other sort of crappy Netflix Christmas romantic comedies. I don't know how many of these I'm going to review this year, but I definitely was going to review the one that Lindsay Lohan was in. So good job, Netflix. If you happen to make one with Amanda Bynes next year, I'll watch that one too. So I'm going to go Falling for Christmas. I'm giving it a C. It's right in the middle. I don't want to give it like a plus or a thumbs up or a thumbs down, because just make up your own choice. Either you want to see this or you don't want to see it. I don't know if it's good or bad, because I don't know how to compare it to anything. I don't watch enough films like this to be able to tell you where on the spectrum of annual Christmas movies this would land. I don't know how well produced it is compared to the other films, or how well written. I don't know if this could be like Oscar level of this type of film. I have no idea. So C. C is average. So it's average. And that's what I got. So I think the 37 on Metacritic is really, really harsh, because I challenge those Metacritics to name 10 Hallmark Christmas movies. If they could do that, then they can rake this film over the coals. I just don't feel comfortable raking this film over the coals, because it might be really successful at doing what it's supposed to do, and being this type of film for this audience. It's sort of like, it's like beating on Paw Patrol, which I've done. That's my third Paw Patrol reference. It's like coming into Paw Patrol as an adult and being like, I didn't like it, F. And it's like, well, you're not the target audience. The question is, will a 5-year-old like Paw Patrol? And if the answer is yes, then the film is successful in what it is that it does. I don't see enough of this film to know whether or not this film is successful. So anyway, if you stayed this long, hopefully you like me a little bit and you think about subscribing. I'm trying to get to 100 by the end of the year, so a subscribe from you guys would be great. I would love it. It'd be nothing I would like more in this entire world than a subscribe from you. Yes, you. I also have a website, macmovieguy.com. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the adna.org. That's the adna.org, where you can try to figure out who the hell is narrating this film. It's just descriptive video works. That's all it says. No narrator. Just descriptive video works. It's not that I didn't catch it. It wasn't offered. So that's it for me today. And I got to go review something else for you guys, but I will see you on the other side.